Hi everyone, my name is Tori, this is Nova Life, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have some romance recommendations for if you like this book, then read this book. I did this a couple of times this year, and I really like finding books where I read one book, it reminds me of the other, or it gives me the same vibe, or it gives me the same feelings, it's very emotional, anything like that. Or it's like a similar sports romance, similar fantasy, anything like that. Anything like that. I'm really excited to dive into the recommendations, but before we do, I'm going to thank the sponsor of today's video, and that is Luisa Jewelry. You guys know I love Luisa. I wear their stuff all the time. Specifically, when I go to book signings, I will put on one of the bracelets I have just to like dress up my signing outfit just a little bit, but I like it because all of their products come in this like tiny packaging to where it fits in my mailbox. It doesn't have to be left out in the rain if it's raining. Anything like that, but I like it because the whole company is ran with the environment in mind, which is something I absolutely love. For the holiday season, Luisa is giving you 35% off if you use the link in my description box below, which is a kind of steal in my opinion, because you have pieces that start at literally just $39. That's it. $39. Now, I got some really cool pieces. I'm wearing 3 of them. I wouldn't normally wear all 3 of these pieces together, but I wanted to put them on for this video. I like feeling pretty and they make me feel pretty. So all of them come in these cute little like pouches. It's made of sustainable material, which I really enjoy, but I wanted to show off this one because I like chunky stuff. Sometimes, depending on the outfit, I like chunky stuff. So when I'm wearing like a plain black sweater like this or a plain colored sweater, I can wear something like this. This is just a chunky gold bracelet that I have. What I like is because there's this clasp right here that you just pinch and it comes off so easily. I am someone who I struggle with clasps. I don't mind them, but I do struggle with them. And this was super easy to just put on. That's it. That's how easy it is, and I love pieces like that. So this is going to become one of my new favorite bracelets that I'm going to be wearing all the time. I have really tiny wrists, and this actually fits perfectly. It doesn't like go too far down my wrist. I like to get a chunky piece and a dainty bracelet. I've said that before. It's just this little, like, I don't even know if you can see it. It's like 2 circles clasped together. It has a little charm with an A and a diamond. I don't know if you can see it, but I like this because it is very dainty. That where I don't want like super chunky pieces, I can wear this. Now, I know you see this beautiful pearl necklace with this little flower. This is more of like a spring choker for me, but I wanted to put it on because I love pearls with like a classic look with like a black sweater, a neutral sweater, anything like that. So this is also really easy to take on and off. There's this little clasp that goes into the little flower, which I particularly really like. It just is easy for me to like put it on right here and clasp it, considering I struggle with putting on jewelry. So I like the innovative and easy way as like someone who is disabled and chronically ill that sometimes like it's hard for my hands to work. It makes it very easy. Now, another piece that I got that of course I can't wear like these 2 necklaces at the same time, so I had to choose one. I love the color pink. I mean, look at my freaking library, okay? This is going to become one of my new favorite pieces to wear. It is a gold hardware with a pink kind of stone in the middle. And it is like the perfect pink for me. It's just the color pink that I absolutely love. So this will be another piece that I'll be wearing with more of like softer looks where I have maybe like a busier sweater going on or anything like that. But I love Luisa not only because of the sustainability and that they're a climate neutral company, but I also like it because you can have pieces that start at $39. If you don't like something, you basically have 2 years to return it. They have a great 2-year warranty, which I particularly like. It's also, you know, pieces that you can elevate your style very simplistically, or you can go more chunky and bold. They have something for everyone. In the United States, shipping is very quick and easy. I think I ordered this stuff and it came within 2 days, which is really, really good. I particularly love Luisa Jewelry as someone who doesn't always wear jewelry all the time. The pieces that I have from them, I do wear. Like I wear this band when I'm just around the house instead of my wedding ring, just because I don't want to like mess up my wedding ring while I'm doing things. If I clean, if I'm washing my hands, or if I'm filming, or if I'm doing my makeup, or if I'm cooking, all of those things. And this literally is not messed up at all, and I've had it for a couple months now. So I have a bunch of pieces that I absolutely love. So like I said, you can get 35% off of your order if you use the code in my description box below, which is literally a steal. Literally a steal. Make sure you go check that out. And once again, thank you to Ana Luisa for sponsoring this video. With all that being said, let's go ahead and dive into the recommendations that I have. So the first one I have is if you love Binding and Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh, which is Johnny and Shannon's story. It's the first 2 books in the Boys of Tommen series. You are going to love Unsteady by Peyton Corinne. Let me tell you, when I read Unsteady, it immediately gave me the vibes of Binding and Keeping 13, but a hockey romance. The Boys of Tommen series is a series that I read the whole series, all 4 books that are out so far this year. It's one of my favorite books of the year. All 4 of those books are my top books of the year. Favorite series of all time. Like, I can not sing enough praises for the Boys of Tommen series, okay? So for me to compare a book to the Boys of Tommen series to where it's at the same level of that, it gave me similar emotions, it gives me the similar vibes, I connected with the characters, I love the story, but it's a hockey romance. That says a lot, okay? That really says a lot about me and how much I loved the book. So this is Peyton Corinne's debut book. I went so far to reach out to the author to tell her I loved her book so much, because I literally did. I was like, thank you for writing this book. It's beautiful. So Binding and Keeping 13 is a very long and thick emotional contemporary romance. Both characters are, I think one is 15, 16, one is 17, 18. That's Johnny and Shannon. They go through a lot. You know, Johnny is the golden boy. He's a rugby player. He's injured, so he's trying to get back into rugby and training, all that. Shannon is bullied at school. Shannon is bullied at home by her father, who's an alcoholic father. She's trying to keep up with, you know, her brothers. She is the only girl. She has 2 older brothers, 3 younger brothers, so she's right in the middle. One of her older brothers, the oldest brother, is left and gone. She doesn't see them, so Joey is kind of like playing this parent-sibling kind of thing. She's trying to help. She gets put into Tommen College, which basically is a new school, so she's not bullied, and that's where she meets Johnny. Their story is absolutely beautiful and amazing. And then you have Unsteady by Peyton Corinne. This book is also beautiful in its own way. It is a hockey romance, but our characters are aged up. They're 21 and 22, if I'm not mistaken, so they're in college. You see Reese, our main male character. At the prologue, he takes a really bad hit on the ice. He gets a concussion. He's, has the wind knocked out of him. The concussion is so bad that it knocks his vision out. He can't see. He can't really hear. All he hears is like faintly his dad screaming, "That's my son." His dad is a famous NHL player. So, he has now, after all of that, 6 months later, he's trying to get on the ice again, and he's consistently having panic attacks, where that's when he meets our female character. She is a figure skater. She goes to the ice rink early in the morning to get some skating time, and there she sees this boy, Reese, in the corner having a panic attack while on the ice, and, he finds this solstice and, comfort in her that helps him get over that, but also at the same time, they have this beautiful romance that blooms. I should say friendship that blooms, that turns into a romance, because it's exactly so similar to the flow of Chloe Walsh, and that's not to say that it's like a ripoff or anything. They're 2 separate stories. It just gives me the same emotions. It brought out the same emotions. I was crying. I love them. I think that these characters live in real life. I could sing all the praises for this book, for both of these books. They're just absolutely amazing. If you haven't read either of them, go check them out. All the books I talk about will be linked in the description box below for you to go check out. The next one I have is If You Love Caution to the Wind by Gianna Darling. And yes, we got Caution to the Wind this year, and I'm so excited. Then you're going to love Where We Started by Ashley Munoz. So Ashley Munoz is a new to me author. I actually read Where We Started before I read Caution to the Wind, but Caution to the Wind is the 7th book in the Fallen Men series. Follows Axemen in May. We have been waiting for a very long time for this book, but it's here, and I loved it. It's an MC romance. I guess you can consider it small town. It takes place in Canada, in Entrance. Well, part of it is in a different city in Canada. Part of it is in Entrance with all the fallen men people, and it's this very emotional and brutal story following this MC club and the people included in that motorcycle club. Where We Started, I feel like, is like the lighter version. Where Caution to the Wind is a little bit darker version, but if you're someone who doesn't really like super dark romances, then you're gonna love Where We Started by Ashley Munoz, just because it's lighter. It's a little bit lighter. It's small town. It's a second chance. Similar to Caution to the Wind, they had their chance, and in Where We Started, they were together when they were younger. She was kidnapped, she's dealing with a lot of stuff, and they kind of separate for reasons I don't want to say because it's a spoiler, but they separate, and now years later, she comes back because her dad, who is the president of the motorcycle club, has died and left this will, and she has to work all of this out, and they're forced together because her ex is now the president of that motorcycle club, which How We Got There is a journey. It's a story, but I absolutely loved that book. So if you read Caution to the Wind, read Where We Started. If you've read Where We Started, but you want something a little darker, read Caution to the Wind, or really any book in the Fallen MC series. The next pairing I have is that if you really loved Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher, then you're going to love One Touch by Lena Hendricks. So I'm a Lauren Asher stan. I'm a fan. I'm an ambassador. I'm her biggest fangirl. I've said that countless times, okay? I loved Love Redesigned. So basically in Love Redesigned, we have a small town. Both characters go back to it. They're kind of working things out. It is a little bit of a second chance, and they're forced to work together on this project. She's an interior designer, and he's more of like an engineer architect type, which is interesting because in One Touch, it's a super small town, meddling family, found family. They both have found family in both books, but our female character hates the main male character, like absolutely despises him. It is her ex's brother, which was an interesting take, but they're kind of forced together to redesign this house. I say redesign, but it's more like remodel, like completely gutting it. So it's more like manual labor, and she starts an Instagram, and everyone thinks they're cute together, and their banter is amazing, and that's how they're forced together, and then their romance goes from there. Love Redesigned is more of interior design, architecture stuff, so it's less like hard work, but they give similar vibes if you liked that kind of it. Once again, small town, a second chance, enemies to lovers. One Touch is more hate to love, but it's fine. I really enjoyed both of these books, so I would definitely check out both of them if you haven't, but I know Love Redesigned is a little bit more popular. I've been a fan of Lauren Asher for a while. Lena Hendricks is an author that I've been reading this year, and I've enjoyed her series, so definitely check that one out. The next one I have is that if you've read Shadows of You by Catherine Cowles, then you need to read Caught Up by Liz Tomford, or vice versa. Both of these books came out in October. Both of these books are absolutely amazing. Both of these books are two of my all-time favorite single-parent romances. So in Caught Up by Liz Tomford, we have a sports romance. He's a baseball player. He had a one-night stand, and the mother showed up with this baby, I think at like 3 months old or something like that, and was like, I can't be a mother. I'm not fit to be a mother. Here's this baby. So he's a single dad struggling while trying to keep his career going. He's a little bit older, but then basically the coach's daughter comes into the picture as the nanny, and they kind of have a romance from there. It is a beautiful found family aspect. I loved it. Now, Shadows of You is a single mom. She is on the run, basically. Well, I wouldn't say on the run. She has ran away from a situation previously in a town, and her daughter goes to where the Hartley crew lives. I forgot the city, but basically she settles there. She has this sanctuary where she takes in basically like hurt animals, and she, nurses them back to health, but then they just stick around and stay around, and she keeps them with her daughter. Her daughter is so adorable. Just like both of the kids in both of these books are so adorable, and they bring something more to the story. But then you see Roan, who is our super grumpy main male character in Shadows of You, and they have this beautiful like romance. Like I don't know what else to say other than like they just have this beautiful romance that comes naturally, and when they're forced together, it like naturally comes out. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. Both of these books are two of my favorites of the year. They're both two of my favorite single parent. One's a single dad, one's a single mom. It's amazing. Forced proximity. It's just both of them are amazing. Definitely go check them out. The next one I have is if you've read Belladonna by Adeline Grace, then you're going to love Bring Me Your Midnight by Rachel Griffin. So I read Belladonna last year. I read Bring Me Your Midnight this year. They're both more YA fantasy, a little bit spooky vibes, perfect for fall, but you could read them at any time. I think that both of them have this really cool magic system. Our female characters are basically going through this really hard time. In Belladonna, she's going through trying to figure out, who she is, why she's bouncing around from house to house. In Bring Me Your Midnight, she's uncovering all of these things that her mother, who is the head witch of like their coven basically, has been keeping secrets from her. And so she's trying to figure out all of this stuff and unravel. And these two men come into their lives and basically turn everything upside down. That's all I want to say about both books, because I feel like it's going to spoil it, but both of them give similar vibes, but I really love them, so I would highly suggest checking both of them out. The next one I have to talk about is if you loved Wild About You by Rebecca Jinchak, then you're going to love Don't Forget Me Tomorrow by A.L. Jackson. So I read both of these books this year, and I really, really enjoyed them. Wild About You is a second chance romance, hockey romance, where he is the rookie on an NHL team, and he has this sister that comes to live with him. The mom, he doesn't really have any, and he doesn't have communication with the mom, but he wants to take his sister in, and she starts going to school, and her teacher that she really clicks with because she's having hard time at home with not being away from her mom and all this stuff like that, that is his ex. his ex that he has absolutely been in love with since the day that they've broken up. And it's a second chance. It is a beautiful second chance romance. It's one of my favorite second chance romances that I want everyone to read, but it gives me similar vibes to Don't Forget Me Tomorrow is a second chance romance. It's not a sports romance. It's a super small town, really cool found family. But at the same time, he has to grovel a lot. A lot of things happened. A lot of things have come up. And I would say that Don't Forget Me Tomorrow has a lot more suspense elements to it. I think that's just the nature of a small town. And while Wild About You has that found family vibe with the hockey team, it's a sports romance, so there's really not any suspense. But the groveling that both main male characters have to do is a lot. And I loved it. So if you've read one or the other, read the other one because they're amazing. And I want everyone to read it. The last pairing I have to talk about is one that I love this book. So if you've read Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, which I feel like a lot of people have, then you need to read These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. So These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong is a book that I read in 2020, and it was a beautiful blend of fantastical elements, historical fiction with a romance, and Divine Rivals gives all of that. It's very similar. You have a beautiful and epic romance. You have these really interesting fantastical elements that come out throughout the book that you're trying to piece together, and it's set in a historical time. These Violent Delights is set in 1920s Shanghai, which I've never read a historical fiction book like that, and it was very interesting. Divine Rivals is set in basically what would be an old time, like I would say 1930s wartime. Both characters, it's basically an epistolary romance, so both characters are writing letters back and forth to each other. He knows who she is, she doesn't know who he is, but they're also rivals for their town gazette, like newspaper publishers type thing. And These Violent Delights is basically a Romeo and Juliet retelling, so they both have enemies to lovers aspects. But like I said, it was so unique. Both of these books are so unique in their own way, but they do have some similarities that if you've loved one, you need to read the other. Like, I'm not going to stop screaming about both of these books because since I read These Violent Delights in 2020, I've never read a book similar to that until I read Divine Rivals, which was literally last week. So I want everyone to read it. I absolutely love them. I think they're great. Now, that is all the romance recommendations I have, that if you've loved this book, then you need to read this book. It's always fun for me to put these together. So if you have any pairings, let me know in the description box below. For the emoji, drop me a jewelry emoji because Ana Luisa sponsored this video, which I want to say thank you again. Make sure you check out the link in the description box below for 35% off of your order, which is literally a steal. You can buy it for yourself for the holiday season. You could buy it for your mom, for your sister, for your best friend, for an aunt, for your in-laws, literally anyone. I want to say that there's pieces for all genders, so it's not just all feminine pieces. There are some more masculine pieces that you can go and check out. So thank you once again to Ana Luisa for sponsoring this video. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you like and subscribe for more content for me. As always, I hope you're living a novel life, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.